Today at Mr. Tiger Drop Films, I'm gonna go and find the beauty in the unlikeliest of places. Oh, this one doesn't have to be unlikely, you know it's beautiful. This year is the big anniversary of Hokuto no Ken, or Fist of the North Star. And recently, earlier this year, I finally played the Yakuza developers' interpretation of the series with their Lost Paradise game. You get to play as Kenshiro and blow all these enemies to gory galore with Hokuto Shinken. But since this year's also the anniversary, at the time I happened to get into it with a video game, they announced a new anime, a new adaptation of the original manga. And wouldn't you know, it's just your standard story, but as a new fan to this franchise, so I wanted to give you my thoughts on the new anime up to about episode 7. So, spoilers ahead, and the cool thing is that since this is something relatively new that I'm into, I want to see my thoughts. I just wanted to share them. So join me for full spoilers ahead as we get our pressure points ready and go find some water as we talk about Fist of the North Star or Hokuto no Ken 2026, a new series that's mostly 3D animated with quite a bit of 2D animation as well. And look, right off the bat, I know there's a lot of people that are more into the anime scene than I am that will tell you, hey, it's 3D animated, don't watch it. Well, let me tell you that they're wrong. Look, I got into this, as I said, the Lost Paradise video game. And that was 3D animated, and with Fist of the North Star, it looks to be a franchise that they don't really change the designs. They're originally by Tetsuro Hara, so his art is still intact. His design scheme, this Bible of sorts for the character designs in this post-apocalyptic world, it's still here. The only difference being that Kenshiro is missing one shoulder pad for the first couple episodes. I don't know. You tell me about that point, but nonetheless, the art design is still great. Again, yes, they can be a little stiff because it's 3D animated, but as a guy who grew up watching Transformers Armada and what have you, those kind of old anime, it didn't really bother me. And since I got into this with the Lost Paradise video game, I already got used to seeing these character designs in 3D, so from my own personal perspective, I didn't mind it, and this show completely delivers on the gory violence, and even way more than that Lost Paradise game could show. So, I mean, if you saw what Kenshiro does to the Colonel character, where he literally causes him to rip out his own spine or cause the guy's spine to leave his own flesh, then goddammit, I gotta say, if Kenshiro was not in a post-apocalyptic world, he would definitely be a serial killer. I lambast, I kid. Because Kenshiro is, by all definitions, a heroic, stoic guy at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if this was apocalyptic or not. He's a stoic guy, and the apocalypse just happens to bring out that stoicism inside of him, his stoic nature, how strong of a guy he is, his moral compass, and moral compass that mostly means defending the innocents, such as old people, women, and children, and any guy who's getting picked on by a bigger guy. And the thing about, from my understanding of Fist of the North Star, right, it's kind of just, there's some kind of comedicness, it's almost like a Looney Tunes setup, where the scenes in this anime in particular, right, because from my understanding it goes directly off the manga with no filler, there's these, you see a dickhead, and you see some jackass, some guy, looking like some kind of Arkham thug bandits, or some kind of military unit that's trying to take advantage of the innocent, name it, what have you, just bad guys everywhere. You see them harming people, right? You get the introduction to the bad guy. They might have a name. They have something distinct about them, right? The way they hurt people, their personality, what they believe is strength above all else, whatever dumb reason they give for hurting people and taking advantage of them. They get their moment in the spotlight. Then comes Kenshiro. And then there's a bunch of blood everywhere. It's almost comedic how these guys are they're doing their big number. They're talking about how big and bad they are. Then Kenshiro shows up and wipes them out in his first encounter with them. Like, when he's fighting the God's army guys, I honestly thought this was going to be some big story moment, right? Where the hero has to prevail against this new enemy faction. Nope. In about like 2.5 episodes, he wipes them out. Like, if you talk about any, like, maybe it was some kind of inherent commentary on, warfare and how soldiers can take advantage of people when they're vulnerable. Like, how, if any, like, soldiers are in some kind of other country and they're just at a base, they can definitely, take advantage of the locals. Well, Kenshiro wipes out these guys. They think they're gods. They had God's blessing to take advantage of everybody. Nope. Kenshiro literally, again, he causes that colonel guy to have his own skeleton leave his body. Like, that is like a slasher. No, I don't even think I've seen any slasher in a horror movie do that. Kenshiro is some top-notch other level guy. But it works, because again, it's kind of humorous, the setup of these guys doing horrible things, and Kenshiro shows up, and he wipes the floor with them. He literally makes them eat their own dirt. But with all that being said, all these different villains I've noticed, whether it's Shin, the Colonel, anybody, or any of the lieutenants he's fought, any just horrible guy on the side of the street. The point is that if you're going to do bad shit, then karma's going to get you. And sometimes that karma likes to go for pressure points. And from Hokuto Shinken. And it's nice seeing a lot of, from my understanding, a franchise. As I played that Lost Paradise game earlier this year, you get more of the flashiness, which I would assume comes from reading the manga pages and turning the page. A big spread that showcases a particular move that Kenshiro demonstrates against these guys. And it's always hype seeing him do this. I think there's something, I've seen other anime the past year, like Assassination Classroom, Chainsaw Man, Dan the Dan, what have you, many others. And I think that the coolest thing about this particular series, this franchise of Fist of the North Star, it being, quite old from the mid-'80s, it's so inherently simple, right? It kind of reminds me of Lou Ferrigno's Hulk TV show back in the day. It's just a man-on-the-run story, fighting the villain of the week. And the hero's going to win because they outclass their antagonist. And I like that. It's addicting. It's simple, and I like it. And I can see why it's something like this originally starred in a shonen manga, a magazine, right? Going from a weekly magazine or so forth to see what's happening in the story. I get it. Obviously, there are some through lines like Kenshiro trying to find Yuria, or having the kids, Bat and Rin, follow him. They're his oldest friends. They're following him, and they're going about their story, right? And I like that Bat in particular latches on to Kenshiro, because just like a lamprey to a shark, he knows that Kenshiro will keep him safe, right? Why not follow the biggest, baddest dog in the wasteland? And for as much as there's gratuitous violence and a lot of sadness of some people, even old people and kids, getting harmed, and women too, from these horrible monsters out there, these horrible bandits and, sorry sacks excuse for men out there hurting people, and also you can find in there some through line of being commentary on the real world, that even without the apocalypse, people are still shitheads to other people. And I think that's the stoic nature of Kenshiro, right? He's that classic character he's deceptively simple. He's simple, and he's not going to, talk about his emotions all the time. I don't mind that. I like a guy who's, more kind of keeps to himself, but you see through his actions what kind of a badass he is. He definitely wipes the floor with whatever modern heroes I've seen in Hollywood and other, nonsense in some North American media, but seeing Kenshiro just do his thing, keeping to his values of being the successor of the Hokuto Shinken. And I am excited to see Rao and all the other characters that are directly related to him, and seeing what happens with Yuria, because I definitely know that she's definitely not dead. There's definitely going to be a twist, if anything, from the game that I saw, with some of her other background as a character. But I like it. Or if I could, from my somewhat limited understanding, but growing understanding of the writer, Baron-san, with the artist of Tetsuhara, these two feel like the thing about Hokuto no Ken is that it definitely seems to be a story, and looking at the music in this show is great too. It feels like there's a real emphasis on, no matter how hard and harsh the world gets, no matter how violent it all gets, that you can always go back to love. And the whole thing is that despite how barbaric and deadly that the world may become, especially in this more fantastical, violent, apocalyptic land, there's something about holding on to love, holding on to that person that means a lot to you. Or for Kenshiro, that may be Yuria. Or for those kids, that may be them wanting to follow Kenshiro. And Kenshiro, this kind of like, he's a guy that feels like he's holding the entire world on his shoulders. But you know what? He can handle it. He's that kind of classic hero that kind of can take it all. But he's not going to put you down for it. He's going to still find a way to try to preserve the future, even if it may be fleeting. And just looking at the lyrics of the ending song for this new anime that I just realized is part of the longer legacy of Fist of North Star, that being Aiwo Torimodose, the ending song of the main theme song of the original 80s anime. It's one that, from looking up online, it's appeared many times throughout the franchise and is now, with a new rendition, the ending theme for this brand new anime. Wow, what a sentence. But I love it. The lyrics kind of seem to encapsulate what I talked about, this kind of being the guy that can hold on to what means dear to him, even if it's out of his reach, because he knows that's what's going to get him to keep walking forward through that desolate wasteland. And the new theme song by Alangros. If you're a Yakuza fan, they did the theme song, the ending theme for Judgment, Judge Eyes, back in 2018. But here, Alexandros, they're doing a new song, Hallelujah, for this new anime. And it's also a banger. It's also a theme that seems to kind of encapsulate how, again, for Fist of the North Star being kind of a relatively simple franchise to get into, that means it's so endearing. It's such a simple concept that can be brought back again and again. A series that's ultimately about martial arts and having your own willpower to keep going, to prevail against all odds. I think that's the cool thing of Kenshiro. Obviously, he's well stacked. He's got the power. He's got the abs. He's got the ripping muscles to tear apart his t-shirt. Because luckily, he has like a whole wardrobe full of his t-shirt and jacket. But the fact that, even if he is an overpowered character, there's still a struggle in being that kind of character while also trying to protect the innocent. He's kind of like that lone wandering warrior, and I like that. There's something inherently simple that I like. And it's made me a new fan of this franchise. It's making me want to go back and play the Lost Paradise game. It makes me want to check out some of the other games I've seen online, like Kenshiro's Rage, which I think is a PS2 game. And I want to check out the original anime and some of the movies too. So, suffice to say, Kenshiro seems to be back. He looks like he's a DLC character for another fighting game. But it looks like the franchise is still kicking. And the fact that even, I'm sure diehard fans can tell you that, hey, why is this new one 3D animated? Well, I mean, come on, right? It's another rendition of the anime. I think it's okay to have one that's 3D animated for once, and especially one that isn't holding back on the gore, while keeping the inherent truths of what this series is about prevailing against all odds, and looking out for the little guy. And if a series is just about looking out for the little guy, well, honestly, I feel like we don't get that enough these days with modern media, and I'm happy that Fist of North Star can shine those lights of the stars in the sky. And suffice to say, yep, Mr. Tiger Drop Films is a fan. I think the beauty of this new anime is that, again, it's the same story you've probably seen, but there's nothing wrong with a nice remix, a nice little refresher. Yeah, I'd say this is a refresher more than just a remix. And hey, it has me tuning in every week. If that counts as making somebody a new fan, then well, this anime has succeeded. But let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the new Fist of the North Star anime. Has it made you a fan? Are you a returning fan? Let me know. Even if you're disagreeing with me, let me know in the comments below, and I'd love to talk to you. I've been Mr. Tiger Drop Films. Stay tuned for more Ultraman and Yakuza Like a Dragon videos, in addition to some other videos I have planned. Until next time, stay noble, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's go.